Welcome to the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm Kevin Ingram, one of the broadcasters here at Vanderbilt, and honored to be serving as this evening's Master of Ceremonies. Before we get started, I want to say a big thanks to our staff and the crew and everybody who put all this together, put together this beautiful room. It's a little bit different format this year, and I just think it looks great. And the setup is beautiful. All the things over here, really, really well done. So thank you to everybody who helped make this happen tonight. This is the 12th class in the Hall of Fame's history, and the folks who will be inducted tonight will join over 100 current members that make up the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame. This newest class that will be inducted will welcome 10 new members representing 8 varsity sports programs across more than 60 years. Whether making history on the Olympic medal stand or playing in the Super Bowl or writing novels that inspired Hollywood blockbusters, the class of 2024 is very accomplished, and the inductees followed very different paths to take their place among Vanderbilt's all-time greats. The discipline, the drive, the countless hours of practice have all led to this moment where the 10 individuals will join the ranks of the greatest Commodore student athletes, supporters, administrators, as we induct them into the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame. It's a really special night. This time, we'd also like to welcome and recognize the family and friends who are watching via our live stream. So welcome if you're watching somewhere else. It's great to have you. And thanks to our video and our other folks who helped put that together and make the live stream possible. That's very, very cool that we're able to do that. I want to welcome to the stage now our Vice Chancellor for Athletics and University Affairs and our Athletics Director, Dr. Candace Story-Lee.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you. So I must start, I know why we're here, but let me start by saying thank you to Chancellor Daniel Diermeyer, who is traveling today, but typically would have given remarks prior to me coming up here, as this is an event that he consistently supports and truly enjoys. The same can be said for his overall enthusiasm for Vanderbilt athletics. I'm in my almost fifth year as the athletic director, and I cannot say enough about how grateful I am to our chancellor for clearing a path and allowing me to do what is necessary to reach the aspirations that we all have and we all deserve. By now, you should know that our university motto is Dare to Grow. And our partnership with the chancellor, our trustees, my fellow vice chancellors, other administrators, they support us daring to grow as an athletics program in ways that many people said was not possible. So can we have a round of applause for that? Okay, our Hall of Fame induction ceremony is it's probably my favorite time of year. And I always look forward to this. You know, there are many other days that we come together as a Vanderbilt community to cheer on our Commodores. So be it at Hawkins Field for the Vandy boys, or Memorial Gym, where our basketball Memorial Magic will soon officially extend to our new volleyball program. Or we gather at the soccer and lacrosse complex, or the pool at Centennial, at the Lummis Family Tennis Center, or at the Legends Club, at the bowling alley, at the track, at Percy Warner Park. And some of you maybe even helped tear down some goalposts in First Bank Stadium in October. But tonight is the only occasion where we celebrate greatness across the board in multiple sports as one Vanderbilt. And in doing so, we bestow upon incredibly deserving individuals the highest honor that this athletic department can give. Tonight's inductees join 109 other individuals who also represent greatness and the very best of what is possible at Vanderbilt. The range and breadth of this particular class, our 12th class, is remarkable. Sports represented include baseball, basketball, football, golf, track and field, and cross country. We have an Olympian, a Major League All-Star, an NFL sacks leader. One of our inductees has a mom who's already a member of the Hall of Fame. Another one became a mom less than a month ago with the birth of her 4th child. One of our inductees led his team to an SEC championship 60 years ago. Another broke every school rushing record less than a decade ago. And another is still playing professionally on the PGA Tour this spring. Two of our inductees live right here in Nashville and drove across town to be here tonight, while another one packed up the car with her husband and made a family road trip out of it with their high school daughter. Now, I have to take a moment to talk about what it's like to make the phone calls where I notify the inductees. Now, everybody, like anything else, it takes a team of people, and I'm so grateful to our team and everybody who played a role. My only job until we get to tonight is to call the inductees and break the news, and it's such an honor and a privilege. These are priceless moments, and because it's a surprise, I always get very, very authentic reactions. So my first call was to Bernard Wilson. I initially left him a voicemail, and then it took him a while to call me back because he lost his phone. So when we did connect, he said, "Wow, this is a great day. I found my phone in my car, and now this." So in contrast, Pat Toomay answered as soon as I called, like on the first ring. And the first thing he said, after a deep sigh, he said, "You're kidding me? I thought you were calling to ask for money." I said, "Well, obviously we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame first, and then I'm going to call you and ask you for money." Now, Ralph Webb was pretty elusive, but that's because I was initially contacting the wrong number. So I kept calling and leaving all these voicemails, and I finally I sent a text. I said, "This is Candace, the Vanderbilt AD. Ralph, I need you to call me back." And the text I got back a few minutes later said, "Well, this is Will the barber, and I don't know who Ralph is." True story. So fortunately, I did finally get the correct number, and Ralph was overjoyed when I got him on the phone. He actually said, "I'm trying not to cry while I talk to you." That's right. So once John Ed Miller returned from his trip to Bloomington, Indiana, we connected, and I shared the good news with him. He said, "Wow, are you sure you want to induct an old dude like me?" And then when I told him the date of the induction, he said he was going to be visiting his daughter, but he would be proud to cut his trip short by a day so he could be here. Now, it wasn't easy to connect with Christina Worth due to her family obligations, but we had a very touching conversation when we did speak, and we offer our congratulations to her and her husband on the birth of their new baby. Now, I don't think that Leslie Vidmar actually believed me when I initially broke the news to her. So we played phone tag a couple of days, but once we connected, she was very kind, she was so sweet, and after a moment of silence, she pulled herself together and she said, "Okay, give me the details." Luke Liss was playing in a tournament in Mexico when I called him, so we exchanged text messages, and a day or two later, we were able to talk on the phone. So like all of our inductees, he was truly excited. He also commented on the momentum that our teams were experiencing, and it touched my heart because he had such great pride as he followed Commodores from afar. Now, believe it or not, Pedro Alvarez was even more elusive than Ralph. Several, and I do mean several days, several voicemails, and several text messages later, on a Sunday morning before his child's soccer game, we talked, and he apologized profusely for taking so long to get back to me. And then he was kind enough to say, "Now, do you need my help reaching out to other people?" I was like, "No, man, you got enough on your plate, and these people need to know now." But I do appreciate that. Was very kind. Now, due to her international travels, I finally had to settle for sharing the news with Lily Williams via text message. So even though I obviously couldn't hear the emotion in her voice, I did feel it via her reply when she texted to me, "Wow, I'm so thankful for my time at Vandy, and it's an honor to continue to be part of the story." And last, but not least, there was my call with Chris Brady. So this This is, so far, the longest conversation I've had with an inductee. It was like 42 minutes. And I called her, and at first she casually picks up the phone, and she says, I see 615, so I know it's my Vandy fam, had to pick up. And I say, hey, Chris, this is Candace. This is Candace Story Lee. How you doing? Oh, hey, girl, how you doing? So we chat a little bit, and then I tell her why I'm calling. And I told y'all Leslie had like a somewhat brief moment of silence. Chris was so quiet, I thought that the call had been disconnected. Complete silence, like for a long time. And then I finally say, Chris? And she says, what the? And then a number of colorful phrases that I know we have children, beautiful children in this room, and we have young people watching on the live stream. And even though all of us in athletics have heard these phrases over and over again, I'm not going to repeat them. But just know that she was in total and utter disbelief. So then she says, Candace, oh my God. She says, you were in the athletic department when I was playing. And I was like, what is she talking about? Like, why is she making me feel old? And I started to get irritated, and I said, no, this is about her. This is about her. This is about Chris. This is not about me. It's my favorite thing to have those conversations, because it is such a privilege to get to share at a very raw and emotional time what is really an honor for me to say that we can do on behalf of this institution. This is a truly remarkable class indeed, and it feels so good to take this moment and honor the very best of us. We find ourselves in a time in college athletics where the attention can be on the transaction rather than the transformation. Tonight, we choose to celebrate the impact of the transformation so we can remind ourselves of all that is so special about what we have the privilege to do and be together. Earlier this evening, like we've done with every class, we had the private medallion ceremony for our inductees and their immediate families. That tradition began with our inaugural Hall of Fame class in 2008, when Vice Chancellor David Williams uttered a phrase that we have since stated to every class as we kick off the festivities. He began those remarks that day over in the Admiral's Room in Memorial Gym, saying, on behalf of Commodores everywhere. So to Pedro and Pat, to Chris and Christina, to Lily, to Luke, to Leslie, to Ralph, to Bernard, and to John Ed, on behalf of Commodores everywhere, congratulations on your induction into the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame. We're proud to honor you. We're proud to know you. We're proud to call you Commodores for life. Enjoy the evening and anchor down.
Thanks so much, Candace. When she calls me, I answer on the first ring. Maybe even before the first ring. Well, I have one more question about the call. Did you invite the barber to come?
Yeah, I can't tell y'all what else he said. It's not appropriate.
All right, well, at this time, we'd like to recognize the current members of the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame that are in attendance. Please stand to be recognized, as this year's inductees will join the ranks of some of Vanderbilt's all-time greats. We thank you for the way you've represented our university with dignity and class. So those in attendance who are part of the Athletics Hall of Fame, please rise and let's salute you. Very cool, very cool. All right, let's do it. It's time to meet the 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame class.
A cornerstone of Tim Corbin's early success at Vanderbilt, Pedro Alvarez turned down an MLB offer out of high school, came to Nashville from New York City, and immediately made a powerful statement. He debuted by hitting a program record 22 home runs in 2006, earning SEC and National Freshman of the Year honors. He was a two-time All-American and three-time All-SEC selection in 3 seasons and tied Vanderbilt's all-time home run record. In 2007, he led the Commodores to the program's first SEC tournament championship in nearly 30 years and was named tourney MVP. A Golden Spikes finalist, Alvarez was drafted number 2 overall by the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2008. He made it to the majors just 2 years later, and in 9 seasons with the Pirates and the Baltimore Orioles, he smashed 136 home runs the time the most ever in the big leagues by a former Commodore. His best major league season came in 2013 when Alvarez led the National League with 36 home runs, was named to the NL All-Star team, and received the Silver Slugger as the league's top-hitting third baseman.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer, Pedro Alvarez.
I'm not nervous or anything. Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. I stand before you tonight with a heart full of gratitude and an overwhelming sense of honor. To be inducted into the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame is a privilege beyond words, and I am truly humbled to be recognized among so many incredible athletes who have left their mark on this great institution. When I think back on my journey, I can't help but reflect on where it all began. An immigrant Dominican kid from Washington Heights chasing a dream. All I wanted to do was play Major League Baseball. But more than that, I wanted to create a better life for my family. Vanderbilt saw something in me. They believed in me. They gave me an opportunity to not only play the game that I love, but to grow into the person that I am today. For that, I will forever be grateful. Vanderbilt has given me so much, more than I could ever imagine, and provided me with an incredible education, a baseball career, and friendships that will last a lifetime. But perhaps the greatest gift Vanderbilt gave me was my family. It was here where I met my amazing wife, Kelly. Today we have two beautiful daughters, Lucilia and Nayeli, who inspire me every single day that goes on. My time at Vanderbilt changed my life in ways far beyond the field, and for that, I will always be thankful. There are so many people to thank, starting with my high school coach, Matt Russo, who's here today. You were the first to push me beyond my limits, to see potential in me that I didn't always see in myself. You set the foundation for everything that followed, and I owe you a great deal. To all my coaches, Backage, DJ, Blake, Kalitri, our trainers, Boz, Gordo, Hammer, thanks for keeping me on the field. And the most special thank you to Coach Corbin. Thank you for shaping me, not just as a player, but as a man. Your leadership, your belief in discipline, and your commitment to excellence were lessons that extended far beyond the field. You didn't just prepare me to win games, you prepared us for life. And I can't talk about Coach Corbin without talking about Maggie, his wife. Maggie, you were like a mother to all of us, but I'll never forget the personal impact you had on me. When I was a freshman, you literally drove me to the mall to buy my first suit for our team banquet. And my junior year, when I had my handmade surgery, you were the one waiting for me afterwards, making sure I was okay. That's the kind of person you are, and that's what makes this program feel like family. To my teammates, we were brothers. We fought together, celebrated together, and pushed each other every single day. Whatever success I have had, I owe so much of it to you. This honor belongs to all of us. To our ferocious leader, Vice Chancellor Dr. Candace Story-Lee, thank you for your leadership and for always striving to make Vanderbilt athletics the very best it can be. To Katie Faye, Sarah Sanders, and Nate Bell, thank you for helping me through my academic journey and ultimately finishing my degree. That accomplishment means just as much to me as anything I've ever done on the field. To my parents and my sister, I cannot thank you enough for the unwavering support throughout my entire life, but especially during my childhood. The sacrifices you made, waking up early, driving to my games, making sure that I had the resources necessary to succeed in school, did not go unnoticed. Everything I have achieved is because of your dedication, love, and belief in me. I carry those lessons with me every day. And to the incredible Vanderbilt fan base, especially our super fans. You were in the stands through every high and low, making Hawkins feel a place like no other. Your passion, your energy, and your unwavering support made this experience truly special. Vanderbilt and Nashville are a part of me. How could it not be? Coach Coburn practically doesn't let us allow us to leave. From having our own professional locker room to working baseball camps, this program teaches you that Vanderbilt is for life. I remember being a freshman, taking ground balls with former Vanderbilt pros like Tony Mansolino, Mike Baxter, Anton Richardson, Cesar Nicholas, and many more. Watching those guys, I knew immediately that when my time came, I wanted to be part of that legacy as well. I called Nashville home for 14 years, and with this induction tonight, you're officially stuck with me. As I accept this honor tonight, I do so with deep appreciation for everyone who has been part of my journey. Vanderbilt changed my life. It gave me a platform to chase my dreams, an education that will serve me forever, and relationships that I will cherish for a lifetime. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Anchor down.
Talk about a Brady bunch. With Brady Wolfe's induction into the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame this year, she joins her mother, Peggy Harmon Brady, as the first mother-daughter pair of inductees in school history. Still, Chris's achievements are a singular story of success. A member of the Vanderbilt women's golf team from 2004 to 2007, she earned All-SEC honors in each of her first 3 seasons and was a third-team All-American in 2006. Along the way, she became the program's first 4-time individual medalist, a record yet to be broken. A 3-year team captain, Brady helped lead the Commodores to the program's first SEC and NCAA regional titles and a 5th-place finish in the NCAA championships. After Vanderbilt, Brady went on to compete professionally in the Futures Tour and the LPGA and gained national attention as a participant on the Golf Channel's Big Break.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer, Brady Wolfe.
All right, I will not take 42 minutes. And I can't promise any lack of colorful rhetoric. But thank you for this honor. It is not lost on me how fortunate I am that my mom, the trailblazer, is here with me tonight to celebrate a legacy that she started a long time ago. Thank you, Mom, for introducing me to the game of golf. I'm getting all my thank yous out quick, so just I want to recognize my dad, Joe, for all the level-headed advice and support that you gave me, even though I didn't want to hear it half the time. My brother, Scott, for always loving me despite all my flaws as a sister. My husband, Jason, for being my #1 cheerleader and teammate in life. My children, Connor and Brady, trusting me with their swings and their hearts. My cousins, Kemper and George, who are here tonight, thank you for the unconditional love and support. Thank you for being here tonight. To my coach, Martha, EC, my teammates, Courtney, Sarah J., and Jackie, and those who aren't here tonight, I owe so much of my success here at Vanderbilt to you and the belief each of you had in me. When you're surrounded by greatness, it's hard not to succeed. While I'm fortunate to have an amazing family, I want to shift and talk about the Vandy family, and that includes all the people in this room. The culture at Vanderbilt helped me cultivate and build my personal board of directors, a group that I've relied on throughout great times and throughout troubled times in my life. Many of those people are in this room. Vanderbilt Hall of Famer Lou Connor, who I've played a lot of golf with, would let me sit next to him behind home plate at baseball games, include me as part of his family, and all the while was mentoring me into the networking machine that my now friends are blown away at, and he always answered the phone. My son Connor's named after him. Toby Wilt, another Commodore, Hall of Famer, used to ask me inquisitive questions about what I wanted to do in life or what I thought about the world. I would bring fellow summer schoolers like another Hall of Famer, David Price, over to his house to share the love on some of these challenging questions he would pose to get us thinking. Toby's the one who asked me if I wanted to try playing professional golf. I don't think I would have played pro golf without that simple question in that pivotal moment. Another notable board member of mine was Vanderbilt matriarch Martha Ingram, who I had never met before, but we became fast pen pals via email, and she gave me confidence when I really had doubts on myself. These board of directors, Hall of Famers, they understood that they had a chance to influence somebody coming up behind them. They were free giving of their time and their attention. And this is the fabric and foundation of the Vanderbilt family. The commitment as a Vanderbilt alum that this family set is what makes Vanderbilt one of the most special institutions in the world. Those of us in this room, my fellow inductees, it's my hope and ask that we continue the culture of selflessness and that we were afforded to the next generation of Commodore athletes. Be free giving of your time, talents, and treasures, and remember that we didn't get here alone, and neither will they. As I accept this incredible honor, and I want to bestow congratulations to my fellow inductees, I urge you to look around the room at the Vanderbilt family. The best bosses in my career always told me family comes first. Thank you.
One of the most highly decorated golfers in Vanderbilt history, Luke List has gone on to great success on the PGA Tour, where he currently ranks among the world's top professionals. The son of parents who are both All-American swimmers, List made a fast impression at Vanderbilt, becoming the first freshman golfer in school history to earn All-American recognition and placing second in the U.S. Amateur in 2004. He followed that impressive debut with All-American honors in each of the next 3 campaigns. He was a 4-time All-SEC performer, earned a spot on the conference's academic honor roll, and was named to the SEC Good Works team in recognition of his service to the community. Along the way, List tied the mark for lowest round ever recorded by a Vanderbilt golfer. As a pro, List is ranked as high as number 45 in the world and won PGA Tour events in both 2022 and 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer, Luke List. Accepting the award on Luke's behalf this evening, his teammate and friend, Billy Whalen.
Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to be an inductee into the Vanderbilt Sports Hall of Fame. I wish I could be there in person to celebrate this with you, but I first want to take this opportunity to congratulate my fellow inductees on this incredible accomplishment. When I started my journey into golf, I never could have imagined this moment. I knew that enrolling at Vanderbilt University, I'd be provided every opportunity to achieve all my goals and dreams in pursuing professional golf. I've always believed that success is about more than just wins and losses, but about the people you meet along the way, the lessons you learn, and the pursuit of improvement. And without a doubt, my core foundation was laid in Nashville. But today I can't help but feel incredibly grateful for the opportunity to share this moment with all of you. First and foremost, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this prestigious honor. I want to thank all my coaches, teammates, family, and friends along the way. To be considered among the greats of Vanderbilt athletics and to be placed in the company of those whose legacies have shaped the sport is a very humbling experience. This isn't just an achievement, it's a reflection of countless hours of work and support from teammates, coaches, and the guidance I've received along the way. I've had the privilege of playing alongside and competing against some of the most talented athletes, coaches, and mentors in the world. I'm very proud to have followed in Brant Snedeker's footsteps as one of the pioneers in Vanderbilt golf legacy. The tradition has only been cemented further by the excellent work by Coach Limbaugh and Athletic Director Candace Story-Lee. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize my family. To my amazing wife, Chloe, and my children, Ryan and Harrison. They help inspire me to continue my pursuit of all my goals and dreams. To my coaches, teammates, friends, and family, thank you for pushing me, challenging me, believing in me, even when I did not believe in myself. To my fans who cheered me along the way for the highs and lows, your energy, your encouragement, your loyalty have fueled me in ways I cannot fully express. I think back on all the hard work, sacrifice, dedication that went into my career. It wasn't always easy, but for every moment, every challenge, every victory along the way has been a part of what makes this moment so special. I'm proud of the impact the sport has had on my life, the relationships I've built, the lessons I've learned, and the opportunities I've been given along the way. And those are the true gifts of my life. So thank you to the Hall of Fame for honoring me, but most importantly, thank you to everyone who's been a part of my journey. I could not have done this without you. And this is not the end, but just another chapter. Here's to the next generation of athletes and golfers at Vanderbilt University, the ones who will push the limits and forge their own legacies. I'll always be grateful for this incredible experience. Thank you very much.
The 1965 Vanderbilt men's basketball team was the most successful in the history of Commodore Hoops, capturing the program's first ever SEC regular season championship and advancing to the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament. While All-American Clyde Lee deservedly grabbed most of the headlines during that 24-4 season, point guard and team captain John Ed Miller played a critical role in leading Coach Roy Skinner's team to unprecedented success. Miller was at his best in big moments, beating top-ranked Kentucky with a game-winning shot in 1964 and hitting 2 late free throws to beat the Wildcats again in '65. Early in the 1963-64 season, he scored 39 points and win over third-ranked Duke, the second highest scoring output in school history at the time, and still number 6 all-time. Miller was inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame in 2013.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer, John Ed Miller.
Wow. Thanks, Candace and Andrew and Robin, who helped me through all of this, and thanks to the committee. It's great to see all you great Vanderbilt fans here. I have my family down here seating around, and my wife and the rest of my family, and 2 great teammates, Bob Snake Grace and Roger Schurig over at the table. I want to do this a little bit differently in that I want to tell you a little bit about our team and sort of the spirit and the way it was made up. Let's go back to, we had just lost 2 games. We only lost 4 all year. We lost 2 games and we're a little down, and we were playing in the Sugar Bowl tournament in New Orleans, and Coach Skinner came into the dressing room before the game and he said, we were getting ready to go out for our warm-ups. Georgia Tech was practicing, and he said, tell you what, guys, if you win this tournament, we're going to save your per diem, and we're going to give you the money for your per diem after you're the champions, but only if you're the champions. Well, guess what? There was never a chance anybody else was going to win that tournament. And we beat Texas Tech the first night, and the second night we played the University of Louisville. And right along with the promise, the score was 80-48. So we took Coach Skinner up on that. Then a little bit later, we lost our third game of the year, and people were wondering if we would be able to come back and overcome that. We played Kentucky, and in the process of doing that, we got a little bit behind, and Clyde Lee and everybody had a good game, but Clyde Lee and I had a particularly good night. And as we were going through this, we had this guy on the Kentucky team who kept pushing us from behind and nudging all our big guys under the basket. And Clyde got a little bit mad about that. And in the paper the next day, it made 2 points. One was, Coach Skinner, you need to keep this in mind. Point number one was, get Clyde Lee mad. And he did, and Clyde scored 33 points and got a bunch of rebounds, and Snake and everybody else did well too. But when the time came for us to really come back, this guy was pushing and shoving all our big guys under the basket, and he would grab their pants. He'd put his hand on his shoulders to get a little more leverage. And the next thing I know is he's leaping up like this. And of course, this is the way it happened. I didn't really see it, but this is what I was told. He jumped real high and really slammed into Snake Grace's elbow. And the next thing I know is this guy's on the ground in the fetal position. And Snake, being his innocent self, stood there with this complete innocent expression on his face. And of course, we were all worried, so we went over to check on Snake to see if his elbow was okay. But a little bit later, his elbow was okay, and this guy for Kentucky was walking off the floor, kind of bent over like this, holding his midsection. And after that, we went on to win the game, and that was the first point. The second point that Waxo Green made in the paper was, get John Ed Miller a date. I had not had a date since homecoming, and it was the first date I'd had with this person, and Waxo went on to say, you know, John Ed, you might want to consider having another date with this person and letting this person hang around. Well, 60 years later, there's my wife right over there. So I want to thank her, and again, like everyone else thanked all the people involved here, I want to do the same, Candace. And thank you all for coming. We appreciate it, and go Doors.
One of the most prolific pass rushers in NFL history, Pat Toomay led 3 different NFL teams in sacks, pacing the Dallas Cowboys in 1973, the Buffalo Bills in 1976, and the Oakland Raiders in 1977. That year, with his 14.5 sacks leading the entire AFC, he became the first former Commodore to lead a conference in that category. Toomay made history in Dallas as well, becoming the first Commodore to play in the Super Bowl when the Cowboys lost to Baltimore in Super Bowl V. And and returning to the big game the following year when the Cowboys beat the Dolphins for the franchise's first Super Bowl title. Toomay's impact on the NFL came off the field as well. In the spirit of a true Vanderbilt man, he wrote one of the most highly acclaimed books on life and pro football, called On Any Given Sunday. Before making his mark on the NFL, Toomay was a stalwart on the Vanderbilt defense, earning an invitation to the 1969 Blue Gray Classic. He also suited up for the Vanderbilt freshman basketball team, where he was a teammate and confidant of SEC basketball pioneers Perry Wallace and Godfrey Dillard.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer, Pat Toomay.
Good evening, everyone. I stand before you humbled and incredibly proud to be inducted into the Vanderbilt Athletic Hall of Fame. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, the staff at Vanderbilt, my coaches, teammates, and of course my family. Oh, there you are, right there. When I look, can you hear me okay? Is that okay? When I look back on my time at Vandy, one thing stands out above all else, the incredible journey we were part of. It wasn't just about athletics. It was about negotiating a shifting culture, a time when the world was challenging old norms, and we were on the front lines. In the late 1960s, Vanderbilt became more than just a school for me. It became a place where I witnessed the power of perseverance, the fight for equality, and the courage to stand up for what was right. I arrived at Vanderbilt in 1966, and let me tell you, that was an electric year. The world was in turmoil, but it was also evolving in ways that were impossible to ignore. On campus, you could feel the tensions of the civil rights movement, the Vietnam War protests, and the calls for change. The country was divided, yet you could sense an underlying push for something better, for something more inclusive, for something more just. Vanderbilt wasn't immune to these challenges, but it was a place where we found ways to rise above them. It wasn't easy, but I remember how we as athletes were asked to be more than just competitors. We were asked to represent something larger than ourselves. It wasn't just about winning games. It was about showing the world that sports could bring people together across every line, racial, social, political. Now, I don't want to shy away from the difficulties of that era. In those years, the Southeastern Conference was segregated. The fight for integration was just beginning, and the road ahead wasn't smooth. It wasn't until 1966 that the SEC finally admitted black athletes, and even then, many schools were reluctant to have them. The fact that Vanderbilt, a private institution, was one of the first to embrace integration was no accident. As a prospective freshman basketball player, I'll not forget the pride I felt when I first met Perry Wallace and Godfrey Dillard, two players who became trailblazers, not only for Vanderbilt, but for college athletics as a whole. Perry and Godfrey were the first African Americans to play basketball in the SEC. I remember watching them on court, noting how they carried themselves with dignity and grace, even in the face of unimaginable challenges. They weren't just playing for the love of the game. They were playing for change. They were playing for history. Perry and Godfrey helped shatter the walls of segregation. Few of us who played with them then truly grasped the scope of what they were doing. My own journey at Vanderbilt was one of growth personally and athletically. In addition to playing basketball, I played football for Bill Pace, who instilled in us a sense of discipline, pride, and integrity that stayed with me long after I graduated. My football teammates were not only talented athletes, but also friends who shaped my time at Vanderbilt and beyond. We were brothers on the field fighting for victory, but off the field we were a family that supported each other regardless of race, background, or religious affiliation. When I think about the struggles we faced, I realize how fortunate I was to be part of something so significant. We were playing in an era of profound social upheaval. It was a time when what we were doing could make a statement, could inspire others to believe in a better, more equal world. The legacy of desegregating the SEC, of Perry Wallace, Godfrey Dillard, and other athletes who fought for their place is something we should not forget. It wasn't only about those players, it was about the courage of coaches, administrators, and fans who were willing to challenge the status quo. It took bravery to stand up against entrenched power, to risk your reputation and career to make things right. But in the end, that's what change is about, standing firm for what you believe in, no matter the cost. And the great thing about that is it didn't end in the late 1960s. The impact of those athletes, of those who fought for integration in the SEC and across the South, can still be felt. You can see it in the diversity of our teams today. Where am I? I lost my place. The inclusivity in our locker rooms and the mutual respect these athletes have for each other and for their coaches, and the respect their coaches have for them. As I stand here tonight, I feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude for my time at Vandy, for the lessons I learned, and for the chance to contribute to something that was larger than the sports we played. It wasn't always easy, but it was always meaningful. The challenges we faced made the victories sweeter, while the camaraderie we shared made the struggles easier to bear. I'd like to share this honor with the athletes who came before me, with those who walked beside me, and with those who continue to make history today. To the young athletes who are following our footsteps, remember this: it's not just about a game, it's about making the world a better place, about fighting for what's right and lifting each other up. Thank you, Vandy, for giving me the privilege to be a part of this incredible and ongoing story. I'm forever grateful. Thanks.
The first elite thrower in the history of the Vanderbilt women's track and field program, Leslie Vidmar Rabino was a two-time All-American in the shot put. In 1997, she became just the third Vanderbilt All-American in outdoor track and field, and the first thrower to earn that distinction. A year later, she became just the second Commodore to earn indoor All-American honors. As a measure of her dominance, the outdoor program record she set in a shot put in 1998 stood for 24 years, remaining nearly 10 feet better than any challenger. Vidmar also held the indoor program record in the weight throw and the outdoor record in discus by the time her career on West End came to a close.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer Leslie Vidmar Rabino.
Good evening. I stand before you today feeling both humbled and incredibly grateful. Humbled to be in the presence of greatness, of those sharing the stage with me tonight and those who came before me. Grateful for the sacrifices and opportunities my parents, Bob and Val, gave me to compete in major high school meets in New York, California, and around the country. These experiences allowed me to compete with elite high school athletes and were priceless in forming the woman, mother, wife, daughter, and sister before you today. When I reflect on the journey that has brought me to this moment, I can't help but think of how I've been inspired by my sister, Carrie, to start throwing the shot put, and just to be like her when I grew up. Encouraged by the late Creighton Mast, who saw the potential in me as a 6th grader and showed me every track meet that he could come to, his experience from the age of 6th grade till last time I competed at the age of 27. I was motivated by throwers like Connie Price-Smith, Ramona Pagel, and other great athletes that came before me. As I had the privilege to compete alongside some of them and get nicknamed Peanut by Coach Shepard here at Vanderbilt, I've always believed that the success doesn't come in isolation. And I've learned this the hard way. As I strive for perfection in my track career, I had to learn that progression would be better achieved through the challenges I encountered and the people I chose in my life. Throughout my journey, I've prided myself on being independent. Even telling my family I didn't need them, that I could do it without them. I've taken pride in my ability to push forward on my own, even when the path seemed unclear. Starting in 6th grade, when I did not know much about shot put and how to do it, I had to learn the process, the technique, and listen to wisdom around me. By the time I was in high school, I competed in 3 sports: soccer, basketball, and track and field. I was a standout in all 3, and I wanted to please everyone. I would go to school, train, come home, do homework to maintain my grades, and do it all over again the next day. I did not spend many days or nights going to parties, hanging out with friends. I kept to myself, though I was liked and accepted in all groups of high school. When my sister graduated high school in 1991 and my mom had a major heart attack as a freshman in high school, I had to take stock in what things were important, and this was when I set my mind of being the best version of myself daily. You never know when you may not get a second chance. I had my first major injury in 1991 as a sophomore. I tore my ACL for the first time. I had to rely on my family to ensure that I rehabbed, coaches, teammates, athletic trainers to get me back into the action. It kept me out of most of my basketball season that year, but I realized that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Surrounding myself with people who care the most and listening to them guide and support me through times I thought were my darkest. I was plagued by injuries throughout my career. Freshman year in college, I tore my ACL again. Sophomore year in college, I had the groundbreaking surgery on my ankle. It was the first time that anyone had performed this surgery at Vanderbilt University. And as a senior, I had wrist surgery and then cleaned out my knee again. I had a lot of firsts, some good, holding school records at 3 different schools, getting scholarship offers for 3 different sports, being the first in my family to graduate college. But these came with the bad: 6 sports-related surgeries, isolation of choosing to go through things on my own at times, not realizing that I had the strongest support system by my side the whole time. It's something I've struggled with, not asking for help from anyone, though I could use advice, always pushing forward despite my better judgment, like attending a national indoor track meet days prior to high school state basketball tournament, not thinking of the team or if I injured what might have happened at that time, and not asking for permission from others, and sometimes going against the rules or the process. Creating a perception of myself that I was outspoken, abrasive, or sometimes just overly critical, especially of myself. I know that I came off as not being as patient as I should have been with others or even myself, but through it all, I've remained committed to my growth, and the lessons have been invaluable. Even when I was told no by Coach Kakura and the high school football coach to be the kicker for the team, I could not see or understand why he had my best interest in mind until many years later when I started to get offers from colleges and was able to attend Vanderbilt University. While in college, I sought out help from others to help me be a better thrower, but did not realize that I was hurting my team and coaches in the process. Who would have thought that through my drive to be the best version of myself, that I would be even a trailblazer, holding my high school record to this day for three plus decades, and inducted into their Sports Hall of Fame. The first scholarship thrower at Vanderbilt, holding the school record for 2+ decades, and now to see throwers excel here and become Olympians. To be the forefront to open the door for such greatness warms my heart and shows me my purpose. I was not supposed to be the greatest of all time, just the OG, the beginning, the standard setter, so that others could experience the education, competitive atmosphere of Vanderbilt. Through it all, I'm consistently learning, refining, and becoming more of a servant leader I hope to be. I feel I started my transition from a me mentality to a we mentality when I had the distinct opportunity to be the president of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes my senior year while attending Vanderbilt. I learned that leadership isn't just about paving a new way or having the courage to stand alone. It's about knowing when to listen, when to offer a hand, and when to simply be there for those who need you. Leadership requires balance, the confidence to move forward, but the humility to acknowledge that we have something to learn from one another. I hope that I've done enough to be the best role model to my daughter, Jessica, but to let her know that she showed me what true confidence looks like and how being a teenager in today's world takes bravery, compassion, and empathy. And to my husband, Mike, who took the lead for the last 18 years of being the best father, husband, and confidant. He has challenged me in ways I never thought were possible and allowed me to be the best and worst versions of myself without judgment. So today I stand before you not just as someone who has been courageous or independent, but as someone who has learned that the greatest achievements come when we embrace both our strengths and our shortcomings. I am grateful for every challenge, every lesson, and every person who has been part of this journey. Thank you for this honor and for continuing to inspire me to be a better version of myself. I strive each day to be a pillar of strength and motivation to others. Let's end each day a little better than we started it. Thank you.
Think about all the great running backs in Vanderbilt history. None of them rushed for more yards than Ralph Webb. Think about all the great running backs in SEC history. Only one, Herschel Walker, carried the ball more times than Ralph Webb. Truly one of the most prolific ball carriers in the history of college football, Ralph Webb rewrote the Vanderbilt record books as a member of the Commodore football team from 2014 to 2017. He wasted no time making his mark, leading Vanderbilt in rushing yards as a freshman and continuing to set the pace each of his next 3 seasons. By the time Webb carried the ball for the final time in a 42-24 win over Tennessee his senior year, his 49th consecutive start, by the way, he walked away with Vanderbilt's all-time rushing record at 4,173 yards, smashing the previous mark by more than 1,000 yards. A 3-time SEC academic honor roll selection, Webb also holds the school's single-season rushing record with 1,283 yards as a senior and ranks 4th on that same list with 1,152 yards as a junior. He also ranks 1st in school history with 16 different 100-yard rushing performances.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer, Ralph Webb.
I don't even know where to begin. I'm about to cry already. Coming to Vanderbilt was never on my radar. I always wanted to play in the SEC. And you know what's crazy? Coach Bob Shute, who was recently rehired here at Vanderbilt, recruited me to come to Vanderbilt a week before signing day. And I always had it in my mind that no matter where I go, he was going to be in the SEC. And I'm sorry. I always wanted to be the best in everything that I do. But I never thought about the Hall of Fame. I always wanted to be the best out of my peers, and continuing to stack day after day, brick after brick, led me to where I am today. And one of my friends told me along this journey, Darius Sims, a man who wants more than an opportunity is ungrateful. So through my journey, I didn't want no handouts. I never wanted to be named the starter. I was going to earn it. And my freshman year of spring, I remember competing against one of my peers, and he told me that, yeah, you might not play that much this year. You know, this is my year. You know, you're going to come in, you might see a little bit of action, but you're not going to start. I went into the spring football as the 5th running back on the depth chart, and I came out as the number 1 running back on the depth chart after that spring football season. So I don't have a long speech. I just wanted to come out here and inspire the youth. For everybody that looked up to me, don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. All you need is an opportunity to make the most of that. And it's limitless for what you can do with it. Just seize the moment and seize your opportunities. I just want to thank God and my family. I thank everybody that came out here, and I really appreciated it. This moment is one of the best moments of my life. Thank y'all. Go Doors.
Williams' journey from the Vanderbilt cross-country team to the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame is one of the most unlikely you can imagine. She wasn't a collegiate All-American or even All-SEC during her time on West End, but now she ranks among the world's best athletes in her sport. And it's not cross-country. It's cycling, a sport she didn't pick up competitively until after college. The daughter of an Olympic speed skater, Lily Williams was Vanderbilt's first female Olympian, first 2-time medalist, and first gold medalist. She competed for Team USA in the team pursuit event in Tokyo in 2021, where she won bronze, and in Paris in 2024, where she won gold. Still active on the professional level, Williams is an accomplished road racer and has taken part in the pioneering Tour de France Femmes.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer, Lily Williams. Accepting the award on Lily's behalf this evening is her former strength coach, Emil Iankoff.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry I cannot be there with you tonight. I am traveling for competition, like I do for most of the year. And I've raced all over the world at this point, and I often have the opportunity to reflect on where I've been. And not infrequently, that comes back to my memories of Vanderbilt, which will always hold an absolutely cherished place in my heart. It's where I started to learn some of life's biggest treasures and lessons. The relationships I gained in school are what stand out to me now most. It's so easy to take support for granted, but in the end, it's the people around you that drive you to become the person that you will ultimately become. One of the special individuals I had the privilege of meeting when I was at Vanderbilt is the man who stands with you accepting the induction on my behalf, Emil Iankov. Emil is one of the most important coaches I have had in my career. He is a legendary strength coach, and he was one of the first professionals to help me understand the process that I used as an athlete and ultimately the process that led me to becoming an Olympic champion. In my career as an athlete, I found that the best contributors are often the most humble and often go unnoticed. They aren't doing what they're doing for attention, but for the love of the game. For this reason, I want to give full credit to Emil, but also to all of my great friends and teammates, academics, and mentors who pushed me to be true to myself. This guiding virtue is what I am most proud of as a person and an athlete. Thanks also goes to Steve Keith and Rhonda Riley, who were my two track coaches when I was at Vanderbilt. In retrospect, I can say that being a student athlete is one of the hardest things that I have ever done. They did not give up on me and supported me until the very end. Winning the Olympics taught me something that exceeded all of my expectations about who I am in sport. It taught me that winning comes not from believing that you deserve to win, but from believing that you have the right to try. Unfortunately, this right is not guaranteed to everyone. We live in unjust times for a majority of the world's population. War, greed, climate disaster, and poverty often overshadow the insignificant joys of sport. It is a real privilege to dedicate my days to my own progress, and one that I do not take lightly. It comes with the obligation to learn as much as I can about the world, not only through my travels, but also through education, valuing the insights of others, and being honest with myself. For me, an open mindset has been more important than a competitive one. You can only control your actions and your processes. You need to be ready to accept the most painful defeats in order to be prepared for the most exhilarating heights. Above all, how you treat others is the most important legacy. You may not always succeed, but if you hold yourself with integrity, you will always learn. The seeds of these values began to sprout at Vanderbilt and have become the thick branches that support who I am today. Thank you to my parents, who never once pushed me to become an athlete, but who also made me stick it out when things got tough. I have immense respect for the way they raised two daughters, giving us every opportunity, but also teaching us how to work. Thank you to my team, Human Powered Health, for supporting women's cycling and giving me a pipeline to a viable career in sport. Thank you also to my high school coach, Scott Gowan, who demonstrated that when you really want something, it should be easy to commit yourself to it at a minimum of 100%. The ability to do so throughout life is a gift. I will not always have a career in sport, but I will always remember fondly all of the phases of life through which it has accompanied me, one of which has been Vanderbilt University. Congratulations again to everyone, and have a good evening.
I just want to share a few words with you. Lily in the college was one of many. Like many athletes are participating on track, swimming, whatever sport they are. And as some of you, she is one of the few which are awarded with this prestige recognition to be inducted in the fame. So the sport is also always about results, what you did, not that much how you did it. What are your results, what you accomplished? So after the graduation, she became the first woman world champion, 2018. First woman world champion. 2021, she becomes first woman from Vanderbilt Olympian. Same year, they won the bronze medal, so she became first female from Vanderbilt winning Olympic medal. You know, in a sport, you're winning two medals. You're winning bronze or you're winning gold. Silver is for the loser. So, 2024, she became the first Vanderbilt woman Olympic champion. So these are the things which come when somebody tell me, Lily Williams, what you think or what are your thoughts. The first thing is first. First of that, first of that, first of that, first of that. You say the list was long. But to be first is based on character. And the character is based on courage. The courage to choose, the courage to put your faith in somebody, the courage to do, the courage to say yes, and the courage to say no, because the college athletes have so many temptations to get distracted and go away from this is what they want to do or this is what the coaches do. So she has the courage to say yes, and she has courage many, many, many times to say no. And this is the pathway to succeed by having your courage as an athlete. And this is how from one of many, as many of you, become as many of you, one of the few. So thank you, Candice, for the opportunity to talk and to be awarded for this.
Thank you, Emil.
Christina Worth Rickets was a standout scholar and prolific scorer during a highly successful era for Commodore women's basketball. She hit at least 40% of her three-point attempts in each of her first 3 seasons and led the SEC in three-point percentage as a junior. But it was as a senior that Worth cemented her Vanderbilt legacy with one of the greatest seasons in the history of the program. On the court in 2008-2009, she earned first-team All-SEC honors, was SEC Tournament MVP, and led the team in scoring for the second straight season as Vanderbilt went 26-9 and won the conference tourney. She still ranks as the program's 11th all-time leading scorer and 4th all-time in three-point percentage. Off the court, she was named an Academic All-American, was honored as the SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year, and received a prestigious NCAA postgraduate scholarship. Worth was selected by the Indiana Fever in the second round of the 2009 WNBA draft and later advanced to the finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer Christina Worth Rickets. Accepting the award on Christina's behalf this evening, her teammate and friend, Jen Risper-Finnegan.
Hi, my name is Christina Rickets. I'm sorry that I can't be there all with you to celebrate. I am currently in Omaha, Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 4 children, ages 5 and under. This is our most recent addition, little Leo. Leo is almost 3 weeks old, so just didn't think it was a good idea to try to travel down to Nashville at this point, but wanted to share a few remarks, reflections, express my gratitude and my congratulations to all the other inductees, and my gratitude for being included in that tremendous class of people. I had a great time at Vanderbilt from 2005 to 2009. I think it's funny when I think back on how I even ended up at Vanderbilt. It's a little bit funny to me because I didn't even know Vanderbilt existed. I grew up in Mesa, Arizona, and had never heard of it before. I think I received a recruiting letter my sophomore year of high school, and then later through just the normal recruiting process, I ended up going on an official visit. My official visit was kind of a flop in many ways. The team ended up taking me to a horror movie, which I hate. I've always hated, I still hate. I walked out of the movie. My teammate Erica Grimaldi followed me out and sat with me until the movie was over, and then we went back to campus. They took me to a bunch of frat parties, which were the only frat parties I ever went to my entire time at Vanderbilt because, again, not my scene. I think I asked my host, Caroline Williams, to take me back to the hotel after a little while because I was just done. So I laugh when I think, like, how in the world did I end up choosing Vanderbilt given all that? And it was just because I had a gut instinct that these are fantastic people supporting this university, this program, everything. And I was right. During my time at Vanderbilt, that became more and more true and more apparent to me. I'm just so thankful for all of my teammates, my coaches, the support staff, our academic advisors, our strength coaches, the professors, just everybody in the athletic department. I felt nothing but supported during my time at Vanderbilt, and I knew that if I needed anything, all I had to do was ask, and people would go above and beyond to try to make sure that we had the resources or the support, whatever it was that we needed. People were trying to help us flourish, and I'm just so thankful for all the people that have contributed to that university and to that program and making it what it is. I'm also just thankful for Coach Balcom and on all of our coaches, Coach Lisa, Coach Pikett, Coach Kim. They just really wanted us to become great people. And thankfully that translated over to a lot of success on the basketball court. But one key lesson that I take away from my time at Vanderbilt was just, it's amazing what you can accomplish when nobody cares who gets the credit. And that was just so true in our locker room and in our discussions and in our practices. I was, I suppose, fortunate enough to score a lot of points at Vanderbilt, but I know that was only a small part of the story. It's a part that often people notice, but when we'd be watching film or we'd be, talking pregame strategy and things like that, the things that were talked about, the things that were praised more than anything were, great screen, Hannah Tuami, or Jen Risper, like amazing defense, way to pick up full court, or, I was the, recipient of so many just picture perfect passes from Dee Davis and Jen C. Rhodes, right in my shooting pocket, right on time. Just all I had to do was shoot the ball, I guess, alone. and so I'm just so thankful for my coaches just really emphasizing those little things that often don't get noticed, but those are the most important things, for success in sports, but also just for life. And I'm grateful for that lesson that I have right now, because I live that every day right now with 4 little kids at home. That much of my life is hidden. Much of my life, there's not a lot to show for it on a stat sheet of sorts. But it doesn't matter, because it was driven home to me, and I saw the reality of it, that it is so much about the little things. It's about the way that you treat people. It's about the way that you're not looking to be noticed or looking to get credit. It's just about doing the right thing, doing it when it's asked of you, doing it with a great attitude. And I'm just thankful that I was able to experience that at Vanderbilt, to experience the success of it on the court, and to have those great memories. But now to be able to bring that into my life and my vocation as a wife and a mother. I'm so thankful for my time at Vanderbilt, so thankful for this honor. Congratulations to all the other inductees, and I hope that you all have a fantastic time celebrating and enjoying your time in Nashville. God bless you.
A member of Vanderbilt's pioneering group of black football players in the 1970s, Bernard Wilson ranks among the most electric defensive playmakers in program history. He was recruited to Nashville by Commodore defensive coordinator Bill Parcells, and Wilson was a 2-time All-SEC defensive back in 1976 and 1977. He still ranks second in Vanderbilt history in both single-season and career fumbles recovered. Wilson then took his ball-hawking ways to the NFL, where he played 7 seasons for the Philadelphia Eagles after being signed as an undrafted free agent. He started more than 60 games for the Eagles, leading the team in interceptions as a rookie and picking off 17 passes in his career. In 1980, Wilson helped lead Philadelphia to Super Bowl 15, along with fellow Vanderbilt Hall of Famer Dennis Harrison.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Famer Bernard Wilson.
Well, I'm going to make this short. I just want to say thank you to the athletic department for bestowing upon me this great honor. I think about growing up, and if you had the modern day drones at that time, and you flew over a bunch of kids playing in the streets on a dirt road in Daytona Beach, Florida, you never would have picked me out to have the success that I did. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank my coaches. I want to thank all of my teammates. You know, one thing about football, it's an 11-man sport on defense and offense. It's not like boxing. I tried that for a little while. I didn't have much success. But again, I just want to say thank you. I don't want to get caught up in too many emotions. But I do want to thank you all for such an honor. Thank you.
Great stuff. Well, that concludes this evening's induction ceremony. How about one more round of applause for all of our 2024 class of the Vanderbilt Athletics Hall of Fame. We would like to bring everybody in this year's class up for a group photo. And then after that, any of the Hall of Famers that are here tonight, you're more than welcome to come up and get a photo as well. But really appreciate everyone coming. And again, thanks to everyone who helped make this happen tonight. And thanks for coming. Travel home safely and anchor down.